be argued is that franchise with director Mark Webb. The Amazing Spider-Man duology starring Andrew Garfield was admittedly less financially successful than the Raimi trilogy, but one thing that cannot be argued is that it featured way better hair. But alas, hair does not matter. Money does. By the time 2015 rolled around, Sony had themselves an uncool Spider-Man character, and Disney had no superhero with the name recognition of, say, a Batman or a Superman. Sure, at this point they had themselves Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, but still, no one can top Batman, Superman, and especially Spider-Man when it comes to superhero name recognition. So Sony and Disney/Marvel saw a mutually beneficial opportunity to get Spider-Man into the wildly successful MCU. They struck a deal that applied to a new generation of Spider-Man films. Basically, the deal allowed Sony to distribute and have final creative control over MCU films where Spider-Man is the main character, like Homecoming, Far From Home, and potentially Into the Spider-Verse. While Disney distributed the ones where Spider-Man isn't the main character, like Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. So for 4 years, it basically worked like this. Whenever Disney wanted Spider-Man to appear in an Avengers movie such as Endgame, they were allowed to do it. Disney produced and distributed the movie. That is to say, Disney paid the bill, had creative control over the movie, and then they marketed the movie. As owners of Spider-Man merchandising rights, Disney also collected themselves 100% of Spider-Man merch sales. So basically, Disney took all the risk and reaped all the rewards. In short, Sony was basically lending Spider-Man to Disney so that Disney could make Spider-Man cool again. In return, the deal also said that if Sony wanted to make their own Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland, well, they were allowed to do it. Sony, for these movies, would pay to produce and distribute those movies. They would have final creative control, they would market and for their efforts, they would take home 95% of what that movie made. Meanwhile, 5% of whatever that film made, plus 100% of Spider-Man merch sales. So let's illustrate.
So now I know why that Sony doesn't want to give up Spider-Man.
Buys a $10 ticket to Avengers Endgame. Spider-Fan, Spider-Fan. But also buys a $10 Spider-Man t-shirt in the lobby because he's like, man, Spider-Man was so cool in that movie. Per the 2015 agreement, all 20 of those dollars spent go to Disney. $0 go to Sony, even though Sony owns the rights for Spider-Man to appear in movies. This is because Spider-Man's essentially just...
So now I paused here. I need to say something else. There's still one other competition for Disney besides Sony, and that's Crunchyroll, the producer for anime. That's one company I think Disney could aim for next. Because imagine this. There's still that war going on for Spider-Man, but what about the rights of anime?
Appearance in a Disney-produced...
It would work the same thing!
Let's say that our Spider-Fan buys a $10 ticket to Spider-Man Homecoming and still spends $10 on a Spider-Man t-shirt. Well, Homecoming is a Sony-produced, Sony-distributed movie, which means that Disney gets itself 50 cents of that ticket sale while still getting all $10 of the t-shirt sale. Meaning, in total, Disney got $10.50 off of Spider-Man and $20 night on the town, and Sony only takes home $9.50. Doesn't seem like that bad of a deal for Disney, considering they didn't have to chip in a single dime to help finance that movie. So that deal stayed in place for years, at least until this summer, when Sony's Spider-Man Far From Home became their highest-grossing film of all time.
Whoa!
That's when Sony and Disney returned to the negotiation table to see how they might arrange to share Spider-Man for years to come. Admittedly, the following info is pieced together from various anonymous sources and rumors over the past few months, but what appears to have happened is this. Despite having merch rights and a portion of Sony's ticket sales, Disney wanted more. They wanted a new deal, one that they felt more accurately represented the MCU's role in Spider-Man's massive resurgence.